Dangerous versus deadly. I want to know how many of these I would actually try because I'm the type of person like I'll willingly try just about any food. Like I want to try one of each animal, no cap.
Dangerous, and slowly work our way towards the
So we're
deadliest
finna
ones on the
see.
list.
But some of
Number
this shit I
5,
definitely would
Casu
try.
Marsu. Casu
That
Marzu
doesn't look
translates to
fucking cute.
rotten cheese
Hell
in
no.
Sardinian and is known as the most dangerous cheese in the world. This is a cheese that is traditionally made using sheep's milk and is commonly produced on the island of
A
Sardinia,
lot of shit is
Italy.
made with
Even though
sheep's
it's
milk.
illegal to sell, the high demand for this delicacy
Illegal to
incentivizes
sell? What
local
the fuck?
farmers to keep producing it, creating a massive black market that is estimated to bring in around 2.5 million pounds, or around $3 million
Nigga,
annually.
what?
We got guns.
That's
No,
insane.
We got drugs.
Oh, it's about legal
No.
cheese?
Ranch kidneys.
Wow.
Oh, and we have cheese.
Yeah, I'll just go with the cheese. The reason this cheese is so dangerous is simply because of the way that it is made, which first starts with the wheel of pecorino cheese. It is then introduced to cheese flies, where they will
Ew.
begin to lay their eggs inside it, and in a matter of hours to a few days, these eggs become larvae. And around the 40th day, the cheese is completely infested with flies and thousands of
called?
maggots.
Kasu Marzu? Kasu Marzu. Katsu. Oh shit. Ew, that shit looks disgusting. That shit genuinely looks disgusting. Contains live insect larvae. Live? See, the thing is, like, I've eaten insects. I'll eat insects. They really don't taste that different than like chicken or anything if it's cooked right and like dried or whatever. But a live larva is fucking insane. Like the amount of parasites and shit that could potentially be in them, especially because it seemed like in the video they just fucking left it out. Like they just let the maggots and flies from. It's not like they culture these fucking cheese flies. It's just like they throw it out, and then wild larva gets in it. That's fucking disgusting. Goes beyond typical fermentation. Very soft, some liquid. So the cheese is liquidy inside. The larva can survive in your intestines. What? Ah, hell no. You can eat them without the maggots. I would eat it without maggots. It's just cheese. The maggots just fry. It's like the coffee beans that are made from kinkajou shit. I would try it, but okay, this is fucking insane. Because the larvae in the cheese can launch themselves, diners hold their hands above the sandwich to prevent the maggots from leaping. Hell no. That is disgusting. See, hygienic method of production. See, like, if they actually cultured the flies, I think I would eat it, but that's fucking disgusting. People eat it with the maggots.
For the next 2 to 3 months, the maggots are left to gorge themselves with the cheese, so they can, well, poop it back out. And that's the magical ingredient here, since the poop gives the cheese its sought-after flavor and texture. And honestly, the texture does look amazing. I'll give them that. But when it's time to consume the rotten cheese, expect to get around a dozen maggots with every single bite, since they are never removed. Scientists and health officials have warned that there's always a possibility that the larvae could survive a person's stomach acid and make their way into the intestines, a condition called pseudomyiasis, where the person's intestines become completely infested with maggots, surviving by consuming the person instead, successfully pulling off the sneakiest Uno reverse card. Even though this condition is rare, I don't think I would be willing to risk it all for a taste of this deliciously textured
That's why I said I would
cheese.
eat it if they were
Well,
fucking dead.
maybe just one bite.
Live is insane. Consuming any small thing live.
Number
is just,
4,
it's
larb.
just disgusting.
Larb is a type of salad that consists of greens, spices,
Doesn't sound
sticky rice, and a choice of meat. This dish originated in South Asia in
sounds
Laos
healthy.
and is a very popular dish there, even becoming its national dish. At first glance, this would definitely be something I would consider ordering while on
Yeah,
vacation,
it seems healthy.
if I ever took any. Now here's the thing, even though this dish looks delicious, it can quickly become deadly, since this meal is oftentimes served with raw meat.
What?
There are many types of meat that can be used for this dish, but the most common ones include beef, chicken, duck, fish, and pork. And eating this meal uncooked drastically increases the odds of you contracting a dangerous and potentially fatal disease, from trichinosis, fatal
Here's the thing,
bacterias,
I'll try most
rabies,
things, but
streptococcus
I need it to
suis,
be cooked.
which
I
is a
don't eat
deadly
sushi
bacteria that
because
is
of that.
commonly found in pigs,
I will
and
not eat
Southeast
sushi at
Asian
all.
liver fluke, a parasitical flatworm found in uncooked fish, which once consumed, the worm can live inside the human liver for many years,
I'm good off
where
that.
you can rest easy knowing that you'll never truly be alone. There have been many cases throughout the years where this meal has directly led to human fatalities, like in 2019 in Thailand, where a total of 265 people contracted Streptococcus suis after consuming larb. And sadly, 23 of those people would end up losing their
I need my
lives.
shit cooked.
Number 3,
Deadass.
Sanakji. In Korea, Sanakji could be enjoyed multiple different ways, but let's cover the least deadly one first and the most common. Sanakji is a raw dish consisting of the long arm octopus, which is
don't eat it raw.
killed
It
just
needs to be
moments
cooked.
before it's to be served. Here, the octopus's body and legs are chopped into pieces and drizzled with sesame oil, and by the time
While
this
it's
makes it onto your
alive? What the
plate,
fuck?
the legs will still be moving. As you
That's
begin to
fucked because
eat, the
octopus
octopus's
are one of
suckers
the-
will begin to
is literally the
suction onto your
smartest
tongue and
among us.
throat, making it difficult to swallow. But I know that if I ever came face to face with this meal, I would have no choice but to totally crush it. Since I have talked way too much of a big game, watching people struggle as they eat disgusting foods on the challenge. No, I'm telling you, you just have to plug your nose and just power through it.
Sure, honey, sure.
Oh my god, just chase it with the water.
Dead ass chase it with the water. As long as you have water with most shit, it's so easy.
He's
to
wasting
figure
so
it
much
out.
time.
Yeah.
So I have a lot to prove.
But I would not eat raw.
Now, the
food
second
at all.
method, on the other hand,
I don't
is
even eat
much more
sushi
challenging and
or raw
poses a
fish or
much
any of
greater
that shit.
risk of death. And honestly, it's
Like
more
the
of a
chance of
one-on-one fight
parasites
rather than an actual meal.
nowadays?
Here, the octopus reaches your plate fully intact and alive, where it is then tightly wrapped around a chopstick, dipped in sesame oil, and shoved into your
is
mouth.
just fucked
But who are
because
they kidding?
octopus are
The
so
sesame
smart.
oil is not meant to enhance the meal. It is simply used to rig the fight in the cheating human's favor, as it will now serve as a lubricant. And as soon as the 1v1 starts, the octopus begins to attack, squirming to find its way out, frantically suctioning on to whatever it can get a hold of. But if you're the human, you must completely focus on your chewing. Soon your hands begin to get sweaty, and within seconds,
shit, you
you
gotta
begin to break out into a mental panic, questioning
chew or
yourself,
swallow.
thinking that this might have been a mistake. With your heart beginning to
Hey, you
race,
shouldn't have
you
been
try
eating
and
a
cover
live
up your
animal in
fear
the
by
first
chewing harder and faster. And you have now convinced yourself that it's now or never. It's time to attempt the swallow. But there's a problem. The octopus is still moving. The stares of everyone at the table are piercing,
should
and you
only try to
feel
eat
the
a live
ever-growing
animal.
peer pressure accumulating. So you're forced to go for it, praying to whatever god is listening that the octopus doesn't latch itself onto your throat as you try and swallow it, as that would surely be a death sentence. You force the ball of squirming octopus down your throat, and for a second, your heart stops. But you manage to swallow it. With your heart still racing and a bead of sweat coming down the back
doesn't
of your
even
neck,
seem dangerous.
you
It
look
just
over at your
seems
buddy
fun.
and say, it's not so bad. You got it. As you get up to go clean yourself up in the bathroom. There have been multiple deaths in the last few years directly linked to eating live octopus. Even though the danger is obvious, people still search out this delicacy, with some athletes even claiming that this meal increases a person's endurance, but others simply do it for the experience
All of that is just
that they will
false
get when they
bullshit.
show off the post online. Number 2. Fugu. This is one of the deadliest foods in the world, where a single mistake in the preparation could mean life or death.
I gotta
Fugu
talk
is a
about
popular
man,
dish that
because
originated
that's so
in Japan
common.
in the
all the traditional medicines. Like some of them work, obviously, but the ones where it's just you're killing and eating animals, like most of the time, they aren't like the animals don't have anything different compared to you. So you're just killing an animal for no reason because it's not going to help your situation at all. That's just like all the folk foods, folk tales. Would those be called folk tales? Ancient medicines, like the ancient Chinese medicines. It's not even just China. Like a lot of traditional peoples have medicines like that where it's just they are not effective regardless of what has been told and passed down. Most of them aren't effective, and you're just causing a species to go extinct with a background from nothing. Like, it's literally just it's pseudoscience with a background in nothingness. And a lot of animals have been going extinct because of that, just because of the medicine trade. Sharks, pangolins, alligators, or like Chinese alligators specifically. A whole bunch of shit.
early 20th century. But as time has gone on, the dish's popularity
Although I will say, like, there's definitely there is some traditional medicine that does have an effect. It's just not the ones where you're just cutting up and slicing, dicing animals. Those don't have an effect. But yeah, modern medicine comes from traditional medicine. A lot of it. A lot of the same compounds and stuff found in plants and stuff that were used.
has only grown, spreading to many countries like China and South Korea. This is a meal that consists of a poisonous pufferfish that has had the poison carefully removed from it. Well, at least that's what should be done, but more on that later. In countries like Japan, a chef must go through long and rigorous training to learn how to properly remove the poison from the meat. The training takes up to 3 years to complete, followed by a string of exams which include a written test, fish identification test, a practical test,
It's a long ass time.
and of course, successfully preparing the dish. This test is so difficult that only 35% of
they
all
don't
applicants
prepare
end up passing it and acquiring the license. The reason the pufferfish is so dangerous is because it contains a poison called tetrodotoxin, which is one of the
That doesn't
world's
even
most
sound
deadliest
healthy.
poisons. A single pufferfish has enough poison to kill 30 adult humans.
And niggas
Now,
wanna eat
here's
that
the
shit.
terrifying part. If someone happens to be so unlucky that they end up consuming even a small amount of the poison, they will be presented with a prayer and a splash of holy water. Since there is no known antidote, the poison
No
kicks in
antidote.
shortly after eating it, with your muscles becoming
No
completely
antidote at
paralyzed,
all.
and eventually it could cause you to
That's
stop breathing. And this is probably when you will start to think to yourself, damn, I should have just gone with the chicken
No
dumplings.
antidote at all is
The deadliest year ever recorded was in 1958, when 176 people lost their lives
I
to
would
this
try
food
it if I
alone.
prepared it
Today in
myself.
Japan, the odds of you dying from fugu are very, very slim, as long as you order from a licensed restaurant. Since most deaths in recent history have come from people who attempted to prepare the dish at home, but sometimes pure evil and selfishness
I will have to
increased the
take the
death
exam
rate
then for
even
sure.
higher. Like in 2004, when fish vendors
I
in
don't know if I
Thailand
would
tricked
trust-
people for 3 years by dyeing the pufferfish meat red and telling buyers that the meat they were selling was salmon, leading to 115
Yeah, I don't know if I
people
would
needing to be
trust
hospitalized,
somebody else
and 15 of them sadly
preparing
losing their
something
lives. Number 1.
potentially kill
Wild and exotic wet markets. Now, of course, this had to be number 1 on the list, since a single meal from one of these wet markets carries the greatest risk to human health. This is one of the rare instances where a single meal consumed by an individual doesn't just affect the person eating it, it could potentially affect every person on the planet.
COVID.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What could possibly be so delicious that it's worth putting the entire world's population in jeopardy?
Most people
Brownies.
aren't thinking like that though.
The answer is brownies. But as far as wet markets go, yeah, I don't think snakes, turtles, dogs, cats, bats, my nephew, porcupines, or raccoons would be a justifiable answer. And it seems like every few years, without
Yeah, I would
fail,
try
the
all of
world
those
gets a
things.
massive scare when a deadly disease breaks out. And of course, they always seem to be traced back to one of these wet markets. Remember the SARS outbreak of 2002?
Nope.
Me
I'm gonna
neither.
lie.
But it's widely believed by epidemiologists and public health officials that this outbreak originated from a wet market in the Guangdong province of China. What about the Ebola outbreak of 2014? Remember how terrified everyone was to even let out a cough?
Yeah.
As you would forever be known as the person with Ebola. The origins of the 2014 Ebola outbreak was traced to a small child whose family regularly hunted and consumed the bats. Sure, this wasn't a wet market, but it easily could have been. And last but not least, as we all know, the recent pandemic we just had is widely believed to have originated in China from a bat in the Wuhan wet market. These are just a few of the diseases that have caused a massive scare in recent times.
I would say
But here
they've
are
done
some
more
other
than just
diseases that are
cause a
known to be
scare.
present in these wild and exotic wet markets.
Holy shit,
The
that's
reason
a
these
long
wet markets
list, but
pose
most of
such a
them are just
hazard to
common.
humans is largely on the fact that almost all the meat will be cross-contaminated by the time it's sold. Since being sanitary is not really of the utmost importance.
True.
This, included with the close proximity of wild animals, makes it easy for diseases from animals to infect humans. And the hot and humid conditions in a lot of these markets make it a perfect
say
place
easy,
for the
it's
growth
kinda
of
hard
bacteria and spread of disease.
just
Or
to
possibly something even worse.
From their hose. That was a good video. I enjoyed that. I feel like most of those things I would still try though. No cap. But I would definitely try most of those things. Just not in the way they're traditionally prepared at fucking
Today we're
all.
going to be taking